Hello, my name is Guadalupe Contreras, and today I'm going to be speaking about study 16 about poise. And as you know, I have the channel about stuttering, right? And this is a other episode that's going to be developed for my podcast channel. And these videos about stuttering will be turning into podcast episodes. And I see now that while that I'm giving the preview, what you could do to come along or stay along with me, to understand what I'm doing, since you don't have the publication, what you could do is just go into the description, right, area there about more information, and I'm gonna put the download, for the publication free, okay? So that way that you'll be able to see the preview with me, along with me while that I do this. Today I'm going to be speaking again, how I said, study 16, and the topic is going to be about poise. And how this is going to help you out. You're going to have a quality of public speaking. And how this helps out stutterers is that, how I mentioned in my other videos, right? You're going to learn techniques that are not only going to help you to part way finish stuttering, but you're going to learn how to stop stuttering, period, you see. Okay, let's just jump right into the preview, okay? The study I'm on is, how I said, study 16, poise. And I'm going to be reading, my head's going to be pointed down that way. I'll read the paragraph and then I'll come up and explain it, paraphrase it, and then show you too as you read along with me, watching, or if you want to just follow along hearing it, and then develop your skill as a listener, okay? Okay, let's jump right into it. What do you need to do to be a poised speaker? Here's what you need to do. Stand, move, and speak in a calm, dignified manner that gives evidence of composure. Why is it important? If you are a poised speaker, your audience will be more likely to concentrate on what you are saying rather than on you. Let's jump on into it, okay? It is not unusual for a speaker to feel nervous when he gets up to speak, especially if he does not give talks or is conversing frequently. A publisher or a ordinary converser, right, influencer, may feel somewhat nervous, or say somebody that's just learning to be a YouTuber, right? Because you're going to do a lot of speaking. It says right here that you may feel nervous whenever that you start to talk or speak, because you're not doing this frequently, right? And it says that because that you're not doing it frequently, what happens is, what you don't feel that you're a fluent speaker or a poised speaker. You kind of feel nervous to speak on a video, or, speak in front of an audience, or, speak during a podcast interview. So that's what I'm here for today. And also too, with helping those to quit stuttering. All right, so I'm going to help you to develop poise. Okay, let's jump into the next paragraph. How I said that I'm going to be reading the paragraph, then I'll paraphrase it and explain it in my own words. And that's what you want to learn to do, because then you understand the convey of all the thoughts, in the paragraph, okay? It says that a poised speaker is one who is composed. This composure is evident in his physical bearing. His posture is natural and appropriate to the occasion. Movements of his hands is meaningful. His voice is expressive and controlled. So what is this saying right here? Well, a person that is very poised, right? The way he moves his hands, you see, and the way that you're speaking. You know, you are a very controlled speaker. How do you develop poise? It's just with some ideas that you got to follow. That's it. Okay, now let's go into the next paragraph. Even though you may feel that this description of a poised person does not fit you, you can improve. How? Let's consider why a speaker feels nervous and lacks poise. The cause may be physical. And we know that, you know, a person that stutters, right, they feel that they're not a controlled speaker. And let's just continue. When you are faced with a challenge, right, and want to do well, and are not sure that you will, you feel anxiety, right? And that's how a person feels when they stutter, you see. They know that they're not going to speak well, then they have this anxiety. As a result, the brain signals the body to produce more adrenaline. The resulting surge may cause a more rapid heartbeat, a change in breathing rate, increased perspiration, or even shakiness in the hands and knees, and as well as trembling of the voice. Your body is endeavored to help you deal with your situation by increasing your energy level. The challenge is to channel the surge of energy into constructive thinking and enthusiastic delivery. Let's put that down, okay? Constructive thinking sounds pretty good. Constructive thinking. Okay, now here, so what do you got to do? What is constructive thinking? You see, huh? That's pretty good, ain't it? That word right there, constructive, right? And then here, how it mentioned here that, you know, what is adrenaline? Well, we know that when you face a challenge, right, your brain signals things, you know, your thoughts start to signal your brain, right? And then what happens? You start showing these symptoms, you know, your heart beating fast. You start to shortness of breath. You start sweating, shakiness of the knees and the hands. You start trembling, right? And so what happens is then, well, you start to experience adrenaline. That's what it is. So as a stutterer, you know, I'm going to show you how to calm down your adrenaline. And that's why you stutter, because your adrenaline is just too activated. So how do you calm it down? We're going to show you some ideas here how to reduce your anxiety. And this is becoming a constructive thinking, okay? How do you reduce your anxiety to reduce the adrenaline in yourself? Remember that it is normal to feel some anxiety, adrenaline, okay? To maintain poise, however, you need to be able to reduce the level of anxiety and deal with your situation in a calm, dignified manner. How can you accomplish this? So here we know that anxiety is good, some of it's good. Anxiety could be referred to as adrenaline, right? So we know it's good, some of it is good. But too much of it, you know, it's what not good. You see, prepare thoroughly, that's what it says. Invest time in preparation of your talk, meaning conversation. Make sure that you have clearly understood your subject. If your conversation, your talk is one in which you select the points to cover, take into account what your audience already knows about the subject and what you hope to accomplish. This will help you to select material that is most worthwhile. If you at first find it difficult, discuss the problem with an experienced speaker. You can help, or he can help you make a constructive analysis of your material and of the audience. So what is that right there? Constructive analysis. See, that's something good. You want to take a note. Constructive analysis. Now, constructive thinking, meaning then that, it's content, what you build up in the idea to say it right? Now, when you have constructive analysis, meaning then that you're going to see everything in parts, how it's put together and the operation of it. So it said that you want to be prepared to know what you have to do. So that's having fluency, right? So thinking about what you have to do first is that is what will help you to start off. So let's say that you choose, some material, meaning that say that you have a discussion, to talk about on stage, because it's going to be your assignment. Like I said, I'm going to put your assignments together. Like your assignment may be like, well, what does fluency mean? And you're going to discuss it for like 3 minutes. You see what I mean? So you got to go in there and prepare fully, for that, You got to look it up in the book, see the points you're going to talk about. And you don't want to read it word for word out of the sentence, but you want to convey the thought's meaning. And how's that, right? Well, you have to go in there and know what is fluency first. It's knowing first about what you're going to speak about before you say it, Or how about this, how is proper breathing control? Well, you would go up there and speak that right there, right? Okay, proper breathing control is inhale through the nose. You would not only do it in a theory sense, read it from the book or share the words, but you would give practical sense and do it as well, you see? So here's this right here. It says that, give special attention to the way you introduce things. Know how you are going to start. Once your talk is underway, your nervousness will likely, just subside. It'll just, go away. So what you want to do is this right here, that is nothing but practice. First, you find out what you got to do, okay, in your delivery. Now with poise, right? With poise, you want to just learn what is it that helps you to be a poised speaker. Well, just be familiar with, your material. That's all it is. Practice your delivery out loud. Such practice will give you confidence that you will put your thoughts into words. As you practice, you will build up memory patterns that can readily be activated when you give your talk. Make your practice sessions realistic. Visualize your audience. Sit at a table or stand just as you will when giving a talk or conversation discourse. When I say that, you're going to be given assignments, Like I said, okay, your assignment today, say Steve, your assignment today is going to be on what is poised. See what I mean? You would get 3 minutes to talk about it, and you would give that delivery, which is, being a very calm and collectified manner of speaker, very controlling your manner of speaking. That is a poised speaker, right? Using inflections, combination with climaxes, with word groupings and inflection high and low, down and fading away. You see, all that would be explained, and that's what you would explain or make an application applying it, right, as you speak. And how does that help, stuttering? You would go over the material, fluency, how you do it, right? You would go first thing, how do you breathe? Breath control, speaking out on that air, lungs filled up, diaphragm helping you to come out very slowly with, the information, and using pauses, appropriate pausing, you see, like I just did right now. See, that's pausing after statement said. It helps for the audience to understand what was said, you see. Now, here it mentions that that you would take time, to meditate on what you're doing, for your assignments, right? You would sit down and then think about everything that what you are doing, right? And then that if you do that, you would have the desire, to cultivate, right, a way of speaking very calmly with mildness and self-control. And then your mental attitude will, experience, a poised personality trait. And that's what will help you out. And then to say, for example, if you start to feel nervous, right, what can help you out is find ways, volunteer yourself, to find ways, to converse, just go out, start talking to people. You're in the store, just make a conversation and apply, what you have learned, It says that the more that you do this, right, you will acquire self-confidence. And then the more that you put yourself in volunteering to speak, you would acquire, that poised speaking ability, right? And then so it says that what is the physical symptoms, right, of poise? It says that your poise is lack of it, shown by your physical bearing. So they're saying, what is no poise? Well, it says that how the way you stand, the way you speak, right? It says, consider first the hands. Hands that are clasped behind the back, held rigidly at the sides, or tightly clutching the speaker stand. Hands repeatedly in and out of the pockets, buttoning and unbuttoning the jacket, aimlessly moving to the cheeks, the nose, the eyeglasses. Hands toying with a watch, pencil, ring, or notes. Hand gestures that are jerky or incomplete. All these demonstrate a lack of poise. So you see, these are symptoms right here that are no poise. You see? So lack of confidence may also be indicated by constantly shuffling the feet, swaying the body from side to side, standing with posture that is overly rigid, slouching, frequently moistening the lips. Have you ever heard somebody go talking? I hear it all the time, and I think because this other speaker does it, what happens is, here's where poise really a physical symptom. And I laugh at that, right? Because I used to do it too, until I read this material here. That speakers, right, instead of going into the material, right, and learning it themselves, right, what happens is that they imitate each other. Oh, man. Because I hear this one speaker on stage, right? He'll start reading something, right? And he'll go like this. Watch, I'm going to read this here, make a example of it, right? And So what happens is that he does this right here. He goes, your poise or lack of it shown by your physical bearing and that way that you use your hands. Consider the hands. You know that he thinks that he has to do that, moisten the lips. Don't. Doing that, you know what? Because this other speaker does it. Wow, bro, that is called no poise. No, don't do that. That is bad manners. It's like when a person that is eats with his mouth open. Have you ever heard somebody eat with their mouth open? They sound like an animal, right? You don't want to do that, okay? It says right here in the book, it says that frequently moistening the lips, repeatedly swallowing, and breathing in a rapid manner and shallow manner. With conscious effort, these manifestations of nervousness can be controlled. And work on just one at a time, identify the problem, and consider in advance what you need to do to prevent it. If you make the effort, you will give evidence of poise in your physical bearing, right? So how does this right here help out, stuttering, right? Well, what you want to understand is this: as a speaker too, you're becoming a public speaker as well. You want to learn what are the physical symptoms of a non-poised speaker, right? And that is, like the symptoms I showed, just catch them. Or ask somebody to hear you make a discourse or a speech for 5 minutes and have him, mark down, if you're moving your hands wrong, you're, clutching to the stand, the podium too much, or if you're making a kind of sounds with your mouth. Don't do that. That shows you're nervous. For one, you got no control over your speech, and it's very disrespectful. It sounds like you're eating with your mouth open and you're talking then with your mouth making noises. That don't do it. Don't go. That's not, I used to do that too before, right? Because I seen a speaker do it that was very prominent speaker. But then I learned that he did it. He told me he did it because his lips were always dry and he forgot to put on chapped lips, right? For the lips, right? To moisten your lips, right? How about the vocal symptoms, right? Well, how does it help a stutter, right? A stutter, what you just need to do is just, think of these mannerisms. These are physical, just don't do them. Stop, that's all you gotta do with these. But now with the vocal, here's what will help the stutters mainly, okay? Vocal symptoms. Vocal evidence of nervousness may include an abnormally high pitch or trembling voice. Perhaps you repeatedly clear your throat or speak too rapidly. These problems and mannerisms can be conquered by diligent effort to bring the voice under control. It says that if you feel nervous, right? If you feel nervous, pause to take a few deep breaths before you go to the platform. Endeavor to relax your entire body. Instead of thinking about your nervousness, concentrate on what you want to share with your audience, the things you have prepared. Before beginning to speak, take a moment to look at your audience. Pick out a friendly face and smile. Slowly, speak slowly in the introduction, and then get immersed in your talk. So what are they saying here for the vocal, right? They just speak slowly, and think of the ideas, what you learned, You see, don't think about, what you're going to say, word for word, Think about the ideas, what you learned already. And when you start, talking, they call that a introduction, right? What you want to do is to just speak slowly, The same thing would be for people that stutter, stutters. How are you helpful here? Is that, just, think of all the ideas, that, you learned, The past videos right there, just put them in your mind. The more you do it right, you'll get it automatically. It'll come to you and you'll be okay. You know that? What to expect, right? It says that you're going to feel nervous, So don't worry about it, okay? In time, with practice and more experience, and then applying what you learned. But remember, have fluency. Fluency is for everything. Meaning that if you have fluency, it will help you to think before you do anything. Then you know what to do, okay? So it says right here that how do you acquire poise? And you want to prepare well. Practice your delivery aloud. Throw your burden, right, upon whatever it is that you trust. Some people, they believe in God. They'll pray before, they start their conversation, or part or discourse, Share regularly, in a environment that requires you to speak, you see? And then, so that way, that you'll be familiar with, the ideas of a poised speaker. And then volunteer, right? Meaning that, say, just put yourself into situations where that you have to talk, and it'll help you to get the experience as well. And then what you want to do is mostly identify, the symptoms, that is lack of composure, right? And then learn how to prevent, these by controlling them, and then you'll have poise, you see? And it says right here what you could do that every week for a month, right? Or every month, you want to have conversations daily. Look for ways to have conversations daily, you see? And don't be shy when you see people, like say, for example, that you go to the store, just volunteer to just go and talk to somebody, just any situation, that you see. And then it mentions then that you want to remember, have fluency, right? Knowing the idea on what it is, that would require poise. And how this helps out a person that stutters is that, just remember the air supply. Mostly what you want to do is what you already recalled inside your mind, that you want to recall all the information, right? That you learned, that. Like say, for example, what you could do is this right here. Like, I know I already made, multiple videos, right? Is that for each video that was made, you want to use something out of each video and poise, you see? Or each one that you read, right? You want to acquire the ones that you already seen already, the ideas. Say, for example, the first one that you read was air supply, air voice quality, right? Meaning that to control, the voice, right? Okay, so what you would do right here is use these ideas right here, in the next video, you see? And then the second video, you would use the ideas that you acquired in the first, vice versa, on each video like that. Because video 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the ones 5 past videos, right? It has ideas that you would acquire. Like say, for example, to have poise, you would have proper breath control, right? Idea to breathe right, you apply that. Then in the second video, I spoke about fluency. I'm sorry, my neighbor over here, he's talking too loud. Sorry about that. Anyways, on the second video on fluency, right? It talks about ideas to think before you speak, So, and then the third video, appropriate pausing. So you would use the proper breath control, meaning inhaling in. As you start to stutter, right? You would stop, and then you would inhale in, and then after that, you would exhale out, speaking on that one breath right there. Right, you would do that, and then in the video of fluency, thinking first what you have to do before that you do the task. You would go in there, breathe properly, right? And then the influence of meaning then the fluency one, thinking before you do anything, right? Getting familiar with fluency would be not only just thinking before you do something, because while you already thought and you know what to do, and whatever the subject is, if it's fluency, you would have to be familiarized with the wording that you're going to be speaking about, meaning your vocabulary. Then what you would do is apply that, you see, and that's what makes a person voice and their conversation flow very smoothly. With it talks about the gesturing properly as well with the fluency, and then the appropriate pausing, right? You would before you're going to say something to the audience, before the introduction, you would pause for about 3 seconds, say, or 2-3 seconds. Then you would say it. Then after you said it, you would wait like another 3 seconds or 2 seconds for it to sink in the brain. Then you would say it, right? And then it speaks about say, for example, the gesturing, right, part as well. You see the video about gesturing, you would use them ideas. See, for this poised video here, it's best to see all the other videos, because whenever I'm speaking about all this, if you haven't seen those first right there, you wouldn't understand this, what I'm talking about. It's best to go back and see those first, and then leave this video for, the proper timing of it. Okay? So what you want to do is, as a poised speaker, how does this help a stutterer to become a poised speaker? Poise is what? Go over it again. Know your material. Meaning then that, you would be a very controlled speaker. You would control your composure by how? Knowing you would prepare well to know about your subject that you are speaking about. It says the physical bearing of it, nervousness, right? Not, using your hands, very negatively. You see, not using your mouth, when it dries up. Don't be, moistening your lips like that all the time. Don't do that. Then grabbing the speaker stand where you're at, don't, be on it, hugging it. And then with using gestures, fully, instead of, being jerky, you see? And then with the vocal sounding of it, right? You want to make sure that your breath, your breathing control is, very properly, you don't want to be speaking too high pitched voice, right? And you don't want that as well. You don't want to be clearing your throat, too much, right? The mannerisms is not really, good. And then it says right here that, your breathing control has to be very good. You want to relax, your body, right? And then instead of thinking and concentrating about your audience, you want to be making sure that, in the introduction, right, that you want to pick somebody out in the audience and, speak to them, like if you're talking to them, right in front of you, and in a natural way. And so that's how vocal symptoms, would show poise. One is your breath control, and then speaking to somebody out there in the audience. That's the way that you would show poise and your vocal symptoms. Breath control, and then not clearing your throat while that you're speaking, right? You want to be cautious about that right there. And then picking somebody, right, in the audience, that? And then using the technique, as a natural speaker. Think of them ideas while you speak to that one person, right? Using clusters of words together, climaxes, fading away, going down, right? You would do that in that manner when you're talking to that one person. And so if you do that, you know what? That's how stuttering will be controlled, and you'll be a poised speaker. You'll learn how to do that. Okay? Now, here, I know we covered a lot of information, right? Tremendous amount of information. What you want to do whenever you're practicing this, after, you got everything in mind, you've seen the video, right? And you made some notes on the paper, right? You want to just take one thing and then practice it. What is poise, Well, you say that, okay, I'm going to get something to read. You just sit there, and then you practice, your breathing. Think of that first video, introduction, to stuttering. And then after that, just practice it. Then you want to, as well, practice standing erect, right? And then you want to be not, holding on to the podium. You want to just put your hand there, just calmly put it there on the podium, and just stand straight, breathe correctly. And then as you're practicing with your hands gesturing, right, just fully gesture out. And then 2, reading aloud, making all these notes, meditating on the notes and everything there. And when you do this here, you'll start to acquire poise. And that's how you become a poised speaker. When you acquire it first, on the things that you got to practice on, you're going to be okay. All right, it's almost going to be 40 minutes already here. I got 30 seconds left. And I'm going to stop right here and go on to the next chapter. Okay, so you just, take your time, pick out a few things, to practice on. And just, how I said, just concentrate, meditate on one thing at a time, and you'll be doing great, okay? Right, you take care of things for watching. I'll see you in the next video.